I was intending on making a video about this yesterday, but my camera, the battery died. So without further ado, now I don't have the other components to fully test this, but from what I can see, it seems to work. Well, I'll just show you what it is. It is a turntable. Specifically, a Fisher. I know, there are some people that don't like that brand. But this is actually a pretty good turntable. It's a studio standard turntable. And I already have it plugged in so you can see it functioning. So, you unlock the tone arm, and then you raise up the little track loading thing. You lift this part up, and then it turns on. And then you can see the tracking for 45 is staying stationary. If we push button, select over to 33, you can see that 33 is staying stationary. And it is a completely, nearly quiet turntable. I'm trying to find where the mic is so I can get really close to it. You cannot hear any noise whatsoever from it, because it is virtually silent. I cannot hear it at all. Now it's powered off, and what's nice is it has an auto return feature. So let's say in loading mode, the record gets to the end, click, it'll cycle, bring the arm back, and then turn the table off. And then from there you can lock it into place and lower the arm so this isn't there. Here with the table removed, and I can show you basically how it works. There are metal contacts in a band that energize a magnetic strip on the rim of the turntable. And when the turntable is inserted, those help propel the turntable at a completely silent motion. And for what I understand, this is a 1977 turntable. And I only paid $5 for it. So I went to my local thrift shop, and I didn't immediately see any computers or anything, but you know, I'm open for any type of technology. And the manager saw I was there and said hi to me, and I said hi to her, and she said, "Oh hey, we have something that you might be interested in, but it's broken." So of course I was immediately interested because I like to work on projects, and sometimes I can tell that if something's broken, in quotes, it's not actually broken, they just don't know how to test it. So I asked her, well, what is it? She said, well, do you collect turntables? I'm like, well, not really. I don't really have the space for it. I don't have a stereo. Some of this I was just thinking in my head, like, a little bit. So I told her, sure. So then I went over to where they had this, and they had this on a shelf where they normally keep their stereo stuff. And she said that we tried to test it, and it doesn't do anything. It doesn't turn on. So I'm thinking, okay, well, I didn't see the price yet. It's like, okay, well, I have to buy belts and all this other stuff, and it's like, oh, man, I'll have to, invest all this money into it, and what if they want, like, $40? And then I noticed something right here. It said linear motor, direct drive. Those of you that don't know, there's typically 3 types of turntables. There's belt-driven, direct drive, where it's a direct motor in the center, and then there's linear motor, which is basically the magnetically powered one. It's still direct drive, but it's a different flavor. So as soon as I saw that, I knew that I didn't have to mess with belts or anything. So I immediately jumped on it and went, okay, how much? And she thought about it and said, okay, well, and at the time, let me remove this. The head part, the shell, whatever you want to call it, was not included. Sorry about that, I got interrupted for a brief second, that's completely fine. So, as she was thinking about what price to charge, the shell and needle was not actually included at that time. And it came with an Empire 2000 E3 Stylus. So at the time it didn't have the head or anything. And she was going, okay, well, how about $10? I'm thinking, okay, is this even worth $10? I know nothing about turntables. I do know that Crosley is crap, and anything else is better than a Crosley. But besides that, I have no idea about turntables and all. So I take some pictures of it and post it to a local Facebook group that's about audio turntables and speakers and receivers and amplifiers and tape decks and stuff like that. And I say, hey, they want $10 for it. It doesn't have this part. It's missing the needle, etc. And everyone's saying, get it, get it, just get it. Don't question it. Like, okay, well, I guess it's okay. I guess it's good. So, I go and ask the manager that was talking to me about it, okay, I think I'm gonna have it, I wanna buy it. And she said, okay, well, I was gonna charge $10, but, since it doesn't have, this part, how about we, lower the price? And I'm thinking, okay, well, $10 is $10, but cheaper is better. And then I notice, in a glass case, by where the whole checkout is, they had this. They had this separate. And I said, but there's the head over there. And she picked it up and goes, oh, what do you know, it is. It had a sticker for $7 on it. And so she took the sticker off and said, here, just have it for free. Have this part for free. And how about $5 for the unit? Like, okay, well, it was $10 originally. $5 is way better. Plus this is free. It's like, okay, fine, I'll take it. And I then asked their resident tech guy, hey, did you try testing it? And he said, no, I mean, he tested it, supposedly tested it, but he said, it just didn't do anything. Like, when you go and queue up a track, and you get the arm over there, it just didn't spin at all. Or like it would spin and then stop, like do half a spin. I'm thinking, okay, well, it'll be a project. So I bought it, and I brought it home, and did exactly that. I did a half spin, and then stopped. So I'm going, okay, what am I going to do? If it's not belt-driven, I don't have to replace the belts. Everything seems to be intact, but it's just not, it's not working. So I do more research, and I find that if you, I'm not going to do this right now because I don't want to take it apart again, but if you flip this over, there's an access panel, you remove the bottom, and it shows everything. The way this works, since it uses the magnets, it has these, and see if I can grab this without having to pause the video. Probably can't. Yeah, I need to do both hands. As I showed before, since it uses these, the magnet and the little electro contact things, these have to be aligned in a certain angle. And these two, here the set of two, because it's top and bottom, the set of two are misaligned. And every single time the disc would get here, it would catch. And then, luckily, the anti-shorting mechanism would kick on, and it would shut off the turntable to keep it from blowing a fuse. So I'm disassembling it, trying to find out what to do, and I post a question in the group going, hey, how do I fix this? And basically it came down to, there's three studs of nuts, one here, and one here. If you loosen those, and you move this, you can actually get this realigned. Well, what I had to do was I removed all the nuts, and removed this unit, and inspected it, then put it back, while the turntable was upside down, kind of angled it, pressed down on this, and put all the nuts back on, and tightened them down while I was pressing down on it. And then that sealed up, and I guess it realigned it, because now when you have the turntable on, it works absolutely perfectly, if I can angle this and get it on right. So yeah, it works absolutely perfectly now. No grinding, no catching, no nothing. It's just completely smooth. So yeah, and I was looking on eBay, and these sell for about 100, 150, 200. But what else is a little bit interesting is the internals of this, if I understand correctly, is similar to a Marnette's, or Moran's, or whatever, however you call it, the really expensive kind. So I basically got the tone arm and internals of a $500 turntable for $5, and it works. I mean, I still have to get a new Stylus, so I don't know if it actually technically works, but my understanding is if it works to this point, then in theory it should work. And to talk about the Stylus and how it got broken, and how this actually got misaligned, I'm gonna assume and kind of show what happened. If this is slow down. So, when you have this over here, I guess to a certain point, there is actually a point at which this chin, if you're not careful, and if you don't have the track select stop up, like if you have this down, if you're not careful and messing around with this while trying to test it, in quotes, you can actually end up dropping this head down into one of those holes, like one of these holes, because this actually fits the head perfectly. So you can end up dropping this down to this hole. Now this is spinning. It's going to catch that, break off the needle, bend this portion, and in some cases probably what happened was that it yanked the turntable up while it was rotating it, causing it to have a larger turning radius because it was up at an angle. So instead of going along this way, it was trying to go outside, caught this part and bent it. And that's probably how it ended up getting all screwed up. It probably worked perfectly fine when it was donated, but someone playing around with it or trying to test it, not knowing what they were doing, ended up damaging it. But luckily, I have a replacement Stylus on order. These the one that came with it is like $300 on eBay, but I found a really good deal on one, so I ordered it, and it should be here in about 2 days. Then I can test it. So you can look forward to that video. But I'd say for a first turntable that isn't a Crosley, this is a pretty good deal. I mean, for me at least.